Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead! I got supplies. I got supplies.
हाँ भाई चैलेंज है, जल्दी पहुंचो वहां पे। अबे वहीं से शुरू हो गया गेम। हम्म। बुलावा तो है। ये नीचे वाला। हेलो हेलो हेलो। बरगलानाथ बेशुमार। अबे कौन सी बंदी की टाइम खत्म हो गया, रेस्टोरेंट मान आपकी माँ की टांग, मान आपकी माँ की जूत। वो गाड़ी मिले, गाड़ी मिल गई मेरे को। बैठते कैसे? मैं कहाँ जा रहा हूँ? खबर तो करो, बोलो। हाँ भाई आयशा, आयशा तेरी माँ की टांग, आयशा तेरी माँ की चूत। यार वो जो मैं ये कह रहा था, अब ये बल्ब जो याद हुआ है ना, वो पता है क्यों है? बल्ब की फुल फॉर्म क्या है? देखो बी से आता है बर, यू से आता है उमर, एल से आता है लानत, और बी से आता है बेशुमार। तो इसका मतलब बोला बर उमर लानत बेशुमार। उसको पता ही नहीं होगा क्या बोलना है। के बाद जाती जो खेल रहे उनके बाद जाती अबे हाँ ऑल पे करा हुआ है मेरे को गाड़ी हेलीकॉप्टर उड़ता है वो गाड़ी आई कुत्ते ने मार के चला गया अरे पानी तो पीना ना इसको अरे तो ये करा कुत्ते तूने अबू बकर बरुमल लाना बेशुमार बरउस्मान गनी लाना बेशुमार कहने की लौड़ी ऐसा बहुत सड़ी गाड़ी मेरे बाप को मरवाती है हैं अपने बाप को गाड़ी से मरवा दिया उस्मान तेरी माँ की चूत यार मैं अबे यार पानी क्यों नहीं पी रहा अबे यार ये क्यों नहीं पी रहा मर गया मैं उस्मान गनी ने मरवा दिया मेरे को दूसरे टीममेट खेलते हैं गाड़ी
Enemies ahead!
Coração. Ó. EXP. दो दो ड्रैगन होने दो ड्रैगन और चार बेबी ड्रैगन है कि डॉक्टर पास मैं तो भाई हम करता ना
अभी कहाँ जाना है यार? अरे यही बोल यार, कल ही 22 स्टार्ट थी यार। और एक गया था केड़े गाड़ी में गया था।
No.
हाँ बोल रहा हूँ। हेलो बकवास है यार, दूध क्यों नहीं? दूध तो खाओ या अपनी खाओ, तुम नहीं खाओ तुम स्मार्ट सरकार में यार, तुमने हट जा हट जा क्या करो बाबू यहाँ पे स्क्वाड आ रही है ठीक है।
Form up on me.
वो लाल कदम
I'm really sorry.
वापस आ जा वापस आ जा वापस।
I'm really sorry.
यार वापस किधर होनी है तो आते होने सॉरी आई वापस आ जल्दी मोई और बकवास कर पूरा स्क्वाड है। ना तो कोई छोटी सिटी रह जाए यार खुदा का नाम यार, खुदा का नाम इतनी बेहतरीन जगह यार, लूट भी अच्छी मिलती है वहाँ पर। आ जा मुझे गन मिल गई, आ जा मेरे साथ आ जा। तुम्हारा नहीं आ रहा के पास आ जा।
what we're experiencing right now is one of the most heartbreaking weeks in American history, certainly in Minnesotan history. We woke up at the beginning of this week to, as we all know, over his death is understandable. Sadness, pain, heartache, frustration is legitimate. We have in our community right now an enormous number of people of all ages, of all races, of all backgrounds, who agree that Mr. Floyd should still be alive. We have in our community an enormous number of people of all ages, of all races, of all backgrounds, of all neighborhoods, who are looking to see not only one, but all four of the officers involved in his death be fully held accountable. We have an enormous number of people in our community who are heartbroken by the fact that the name George Floyd does not stand alone in history, but that it joins a too long and too rapidly growing list of names of unarmed, unaggressive African American men who've lost their lives wrongfully at the hands of law enforcement. And the frustration that time and time again we've seen no one held accountable. We have an enormous amount of legitimate frustration of people who ask, when? How long will it take? People who ask, how egregious does it have to be? People who ask, how blatant does it how well documented does it have to be for someone to be held accountable for George Floyd's murder? That frustration, that pain is real and it's legitimate. And to all of the people in our community who believe what I just said, who wholeheartedly need the world to hear that Mr. Floyd should be alive, that someone should be held accountable, and that we as a community, we as a culture, we as a society must do everything we can imagine to keep this from happening again, we stand with you. I stand with you. There are many, many ways for us to work together in a constructive manner that builds our communities, that empowers our communities to speak up with a loud voice. The world is listening. There are opportunities for us to do that in a constructive manner. Unfortunately, there are also those among us who would seek to use this moment, who would seek to use his death as an excuse, as a cover, to agitate for the destruction of those same communities that have been most.
Let's get back into the context of why this is happening. Now, to a certain extent, it depends on how you decide to understand it, okay? And for some perspective, let's go to the mayor of Atlanta, who in no way wanted to see her city on fire and was very outspoken about it, and also had perspective on why what she doesn't like happening was happening. And it's very important to hear. Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Listen to her.
I am a mother. I am a mother to 4 black children in America, one of whom is 18 years old. And when I saw the murder of George Floyd, I hurt like a mother would hurt. And on yesterday, when I heard there were rumors about violent protests in Atlanta, I did what a mother would do. I called my son and I said, "Where are you?" I said, "I cannot protect you and black boys shouldn't be out today. So you're not going to out-concern me and out-care about where we are in America. I wear this each and every day, and I pray over my children each and every day. So what I see happening on the streets of Atlanta is not Atlanta. This is not a protest. This is not in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. This is chaos. A protest has purpose. When Dr. King was assassinated, we didn't do this to our city. So if you love this city that has had a legacy of black mayors and black police chiefs and people who care about this city, where more than 50% of the business owners in Metro Atlanta are minority business owners. If you care about this city, then go home and pray that somebody like Reverend Beasley will come and talk to you and give you some instructions on what a protest should look like and how you effectuate change in America. This police chief made a video on yesterday, pull it up on YouTube, where she said she was appalled to watch the murder of George Floyd. This woman did that. You're not honoring the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and the civil rights movement. You're not protesting anything, running out with brown liquor in your hands, breaking windows in this city. T.I. and Killer Mike own half the West Side. So when you burn down this city, you're burning down our community. If you want change in America, go and register to vote. Show up at the polls on June 9th. Do it in November. That is the change we need in this country. You are disgracing our city. You are disgracing the life of George Floyd and every other person who has been killed in this country. We are better than this. We're better than this as a city. We are better than this as a country. Go home. Go home. In the same way I can protect my son on yesterday, I cannot protect you out in those streets. You're throwing knives at our police officers. You are burning cars. You have defaced the CNN building. Ted Turner started CNN in Atlanta 40 years ago because he believed in who we are as a city. There was a black reporter who was arrested on camera this morning who works for CNN. They are telling our stories, and you are disgracing their building. This is not the legacy of civil rights in America. This is chaos, and we're buying into it. This won't change anything. We're no longer talking about the murder of an innocent man. We're talking about how you're burning police cars on the streets of Atlanta, Georgia. Go home.
Now, that is not just incredibly powerful and poignant, but it is also perspective from an African American mother and leader. How are those words received? Well, one answer is on the streets before you right now. Not fair to judge the mayor's echo by Los Angeles, but her own city was on fire tonight, again, after she said that. Van Jones, I know that some of that I've heard you say before, and some of it I am not hearing you say right now. When she's saying go home, you are disgracing the legacy, you are distracting the narrative, you are resembling what you say you oppose. This is wrong how you're doing this. Your take.
Well, listen, I mean, that was leadership. And it was leadership that resonated because it was tied to something more than just calling you a thug. See, when you call people out, you lose your audience. She was calling them up. You could feel the love underneath the anger. You could feel the love underneath the rage. She was saying, you are better than this. And you are part of something bigger than this. And you need to go home because you're out here destroying your own legacy. That's different than saying you're a bunch of thugs. and putting people down, expecting them to rise. And so there's a quality of leadership that she represents that is sorely missing, unfortunately, throughout the country. And I'm not surprised that people didn't heed her word, but that's the model. But what I will say is this: hurt people holler. Hurt people holler. And one of the things that we're dealing with right now is it's hard to speak up when you see injustice, when things are going wrong, when a department first starts to go sour, when you start seeing things that don't make sense. But if you speak up and you're not heard, then you might shout. If you shout and then you're still not heard, then you might scream. If you scream and you're still not heard, then you might throw something. Look at your own children and how they act. When there's something desperately wrong and no one will listen, people go to more and more extreme forms of expression and then of action. Not to justify it, but that's there. So if you are concerned about lawlessness, and by the way, I'm raising 2 black boys in Los Angeles. I'm not a part of any pro-riot lobby or any pro-crime lobby. I want peaceful streets. But I know that if I want to end lawlessness in LA, I've got to make sure there is not lawlessness in the police precincts in LA. And that is the challenge that we have here. Let's hold young people to high standards and not relax and not relent. And let's hold grown folk to higher standards. The problem I have with a lot of critics of what they're seeing is that they are very, very quick to raise the standards on young, desperate people, some of whom are just out there acting a fool and are knuckleheads. Some are out there for a good purpose. There's a mix. But they're quick to raise the standard for them, but lower the standard for law enforcement. And that's how you get anarchy. That is a perfect formula for anarchy. If you don't want anarchy, insist on law and order in the ranks of our police. I applaud the mayor. She is calling people up to a higher standard and not just calling people out for their mistakes and misdeeds.
George Floyd's death sparking protests across the country. Denver went into lockdown yesterday after someone there fired a gun near a peaceful protest. Protesters in Columbus, Ohio charged the state capitol, and more demonstrations are expected there.
The protesters are here in support of protesters out in Minneapolis. They're also, this is a we can't, just watching this energy down here.
What else are
as a result of a NYPD intern?
No stranger.
It was supposed to be
yeah.
And you hear the chant there now. It's hands up. We're going to get on the sidewalk out of here as they're telling us to do. Trying to do this as well as today. If I could use that word.
A few thousand people have turned out today to protest. Where we've seen folks running, and we're not exactly sure what happened there, but
what did he say?
Yeah, so Houston.
NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our
Okay, well, you keep going and go where you gotta go, and that's fine with us.
Okay.
We got plenty of time here.
Are you okay?
I'm getting shot! I'm getting...
Katie, are you okay?
Rubber bullets, it's okay. It's those pepper bullets. It's those pepper bullets.
Who are they aiming that at?
Nice shooting at the photographer.
At us, like directly at us.
Our crew.
Do they not know that obviously they see the camera?
Leland Diller, sort of able to get out. Things could have been a lot worse. Pushed me forward, and then the crowd gathered, massed, and attacked us. How threatening was this last night? I mean, this is across the street from the White House. There just to protect the president, obviously to protect the area. This to push over the bicycle barricades that form the initial buffer of the White House. Secret Service, they don't really show it. And last night they did, and this locked the bicycle by iron and the shields, and the protesters broke through that wall as well of the handcuffs and the padlocks and wire. So they were right up against the Secret Service. The Secret Service showed incredible restraint, brought out pepper spray, etc. But once the mob turned on us, about 50 people, and started pushing us out of Lafayette Park, there was 2 blocks of no man's land. There was no police. There was nothing. We were on our own, save a couple of the other news organizations that were able to capture this. We ended, and you're normally not. This crowd, it looked green right, will allow Pennsylvania Avenue that were thrown, and they just stood there with their riot shields, taking the abuse at 1 or 2 arrests and starting to grab people, etc. So my hat's off to the Secret Service, who showed incredible restraint in the face of real provocation by these protesters, who, even when we tried to interview a number of them and talk to them and try to get some kind of explanation or cohesive message, they just weren't interested in it. They weren't interested in talking. They weren't interested in explaining their position. Mostly they were interested in cussing about the president, etc. And we said, wait, what about the DOJ investigation? What about the FBI looking in to the events in Minneapolis? They didn't care about any of that. Very wild. Leland, I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad your crew is all right. A little sore from the thumping, but doing okay. Yeah, amazing. All right, thank you, Leland, very, very much.
Okay.
Woke up this morning, I thought about it. I said, yeah, all this about we the richest country in the world. I get all of that.
And billions and billions and billions.
people gonna die from this pandemic. Only 3,000 people done died so far. So that means 97,000 more people gotta die.
100 to 200,000.
Whether they at Walmart, whether they work at the bank, airline stewardess, or doctor.
Are they going
up in his native presented as
you treat this
you working.
I walked out because it was on ride. They told me there was one case in the building, and then
acres in West Texas. Workers also service industry on the front line. Making content like TYT Sports on Facebook, and to help in my journey to keep media independent, go to tyt.com/Rick.
An amazing video for you guys.
Easy peasy. Oh yes! Oh! Oh! No! Oh!
Vou blir tjata. Nog fler blir lepar av igen. Vou blir tjata tjeko lepri. Lepri shitardo. Ko lepri. Lepri shitardo. Blir och pingvin. Ah! Plötsligt blir de
Oh my god. I got
Go.
You're gonna hurt yourself. pushing. Go.
Yep, it happened.
Oh, 帕特金
Mandarin.
你nói，你说一下，你说一点点给我听听。Apa kabar? Bagaimana kabar Anda hari ini? Bagaimana? Bagus, bagus, bagus sekali. Saya bisa berbicara bahasa Indonesia. Ya, sama. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está?
Oh, I'm not Spanish.
Vos ves língua romana? Da.
In Romania we say kumiec or...
I mean, comie, yeah.
Ce faci?
Ce mai faceți?
Where are you guys from?
Sunt American. American,
Some Romanians teach you that?
nie.
You learned it by yourself?
Studiez limba română, acasă, dar, din păcate, din păcate, nu foarte bine. Really?
I don't know.
It's easy.
Yeah, I bet you it is.
Say nu știu. Just
No Romanian? That's no Romanian?
I study languages. That's what I do. I study Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Russian, Bosnian, Albanian.
And I only speak 3 languages.
Vorbesc limba română, limba engleză, și what? Taladul noș.
Yeah.
Taladul noș?
Yeah.
Ja so. Baby bro. How you doing? Sawadee krap. Kun sabadi mai krap. Sabadi krap.
How are you?
Pom sabadi ด้วยนะครับ
Oh, you're great in Thai.
ผมพูดนิดหน่อยเท่านั้น
Oh, it's a lot.
เยอะจริง
How have you been to Thailand?
ยังไม่แต่ผมเคยไต้หวันญี่ปุ่นและKorea เอาทำไมเพราะว่า
You're so good in Thai.
เพราะว่าผมคิดว่าภาษาไทยน่าสนใจมากและผมชอบเรียนภาษาอื่นด้วยนะครับ It's สนุกมากรู้จักยินดีที่ได้รู้จักSee ya. Hope you need to.
Have a good day.
You too. Take care. How you doing? Hola. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás hoy?
¿Sabes español?
Esto. Un poquito. Estoy aprendiendo otros idiomas. Así que
It's really nice.
vamos.
Pretty good.
Podemos practicar. ¿De dónde eres en España?
Del sur, south.
¿O sur? ¿Cuánto tiempo has viviendo en los Estados Unidos? 2 años. ¿O 2 semanas? 2 semanas solamente?
Yeah.
Oh.
For the summer.
Wow. Estupendo. Como... She see your face.
No, es muy bueno.
All right, mucho gusto. Mucho gusto.
Disfrutar.
Hey, Pam. Sawadee krap. Kun sabadi mai krap. วันนี้
Oh, you're so good.
นิดหน่อยเท่านั้นแต่ผมอยากฝึกหัดนิดหน่อย
You learn Thai. Wow.
ผมเรียนภาษาไทยที่บ้านของผม
Do you have a season pass?
Oh, Bangkok. Okay. แต่ภาษาไทยของผมยังไม่ดีกว่ายังไม่จริงๆพูดภาษาอื่นได้ครับภ Pasa Inggris, Pasa Thai. Pasa Jing.
Mandarin.
นิดหน่อย你说一下你说一点点给我听听Cześć jak ty masz dobrze ponieważ uczym się polskiego teraz
Wow, I'm impressed.
Myślę, że polski bardzo trudne. Nie, bardzo trudne.
Wow.
Ale chcę się uczyć, ćwiczyć polski.
Dlaczego akurat polski jest?
Uczę się sam.
Ale dlaczego?
Dlaczego? Bo lubię się uczyć innych języków.
Wow.
Clip here in this video just to let you guys know that I do have a Patreon page.
Mira. Alhamdulillah. أتكلم لغة عربية شوي فقط. Baiklah. Banyak. Kuanongwa. Janda.
Gave me a name.
My day. Oh my god.
Thank you very much. Speak of my language.
叫天津嘛。
天津
Local language in South Africa.
Man, it's just like going to fishing, playing video games, going to gyms.
What are you looking up? Say something to us.
Oh, what?
Philippines. Okay, say something.
Okay.
You guys speak over 50 languages. He was communicating with me in my language.
Kamusta kayo ngayon? Mabuti? Mahalig ako?
Nakarating ka na ba sa Pilipinas?
Hindi pa nakarating ako na Pinas pero nakarating ako.
Marami ka bang kaibigan na may Pilipino?
Wala marami. Peace Corps? Peace Corps?
Para pumunta ka sa iba-ibang bansa.
Ngayon, guro ako. Guro.
Saan ka nagtuturo?
Sa bahay ko. Private. Opo. Iba't ibang wika.
Iba-ibang wika? Oh yes, absolutely.
She said, am I making sense?
I'm a good driver and I should know the road. I drive a boat to bar and lift. You can see.
She don't.
Are you going to bleed?
I'm the robot. You C-3PO.
C-3PO?
Actually, I registered.
You know that little trash can looking thing from Star Wars?
This guy went to a restaurant and found another guy who looks exactly like him, wearing the same glasses and even the same outfit. Is this a real life glitch in the Matrix? Hello guys, I'm Zoro, and today's video clarifying his sexuality just as a track passes by behind him that reads "Out of the Closet."
maybe if people start listening to this podcast, you know, they might be interested in you.
If there's
and,
any lucky ladies
if there's any lucky ladies out there, look them up.
Not ladies, but okay. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
guys.
Well, I'm biased, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But primarily into guys these days?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, so any lucky guys out there?
Yeah. Oh, they
Sorry to assume. It's just you talked about your ex-wife and stuff.
Yeah, everybody. Well, that was. I call that the first check.
Task failed successfully. A guy playing Hedwig's theme with homemade instruments. He hit the golf ball. And it came back right where it started. And look at the confusion in his face after he finds it. A perfect chair throw.
Perfect.
Someone and a friend.
Hey, buddy!
Yo, how you doing, man?
An unbelievable extra coincidence. Wait for it. music with perfect timing. When the shop decides for you what you should have for dinner. An overhand throw to win the game right before the buzzer.
Perfect, perfect.
And you can tell that she wasn't even expecting it. Watch this other basketball coincidence carefully. Are you ready? Perfect timing. And as every coincidence video, watch this and let us know in the comments if it's luck or skill. This water balloon going exactly to the one who deserves it. Losing Rubik's Cube by 0.001 seconds.
That's all. This one's pretty important. Sebastian turned pretty well. Phil also turned very, very quickly. But it's like, blood on Peter. They're both messed up so bad.
And here are some other unlucky people. A Dodgers fan spills his fries and later fumbles his pizza after going for two separate foul balls.
Folks, alright, I got this. I got it. Oh, and the dog. Alright, yeah, this shit is. What? It's the sink. In the sink. This goes really serious.
The same whale found after 35 years in the west coast of Mexico. A smart printer. Tuna eats a seagull by mistake and then spits it out. A surprise catch for a Russian crew. And you will see now two pictures. Watch them closely and let us know in the comments what's the coincidence in each one of them. And as always, let's end the video with the cutest clip. Here's a smart boy doing a ball flip trick. And this was all for today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it put a smile on your face. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you haven't already.
Absolutely barbaric, but the question is, can Vegeta get it done? What is going on, everybody? Well, we begin do you guys think that Ultra Instinct Goku is now weaker than Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta? Did Vegeta actually surpass Goku, or vice to come really close in theoretically getting involved? That we really think that, because remember what Moro had told Goku about his abilities and whatnot, that could actually serve a purpose in Moro having to use things that could really a horrible moment for Vegeta, because
If you are a fan of Conor McGregor or Kamaru Usman, then be sure to show this by smashing the like button. Welcome back everybody to Keenan K TV. In today's video, let us talk about the potential Kamaru Usman vs Conor McGregor fight. In this episode, I will be looking into why Conor McGregor could be defeating Kamaru Usman. I'll be making a similar video where I talk about Usman defeating Conor, so be sure to like and subscribe to stay notified for that video. Now with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Conor McGregor and Kamaru Usman. At first thought, a lot of people will be looking at Kamaru Usman as the typical, look, this guy is bigger than the smaller guy, he's going to be able to overpower him and he's going to be able to beat him. Some look at him in the way as a welterweight Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now I can see that comparison, though they are completely different fighters if you were honestly going to be looking at them in terms of skill. Sure, they are both wrestlers with great cardio, and that's where pretty much the entire similarity comparison comes to an end, because a lot of people will be looking at this fight very much so on the surface and will not be giving this fight the true attention to detail that usually will be given to any other fight. So in Conor McGregor's case, when you take a look at Conor McGregor at this point of his career, career, being at the age of 31, I believe. He has grown into a way bigger frame. He has built up all this muscle mass. He looks in phenomenal shape at the welterweight division, as we saw against his fight with Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Now, the question of can Conor McGregor compete against a way bigger welterweight will be something that we will have to wait to get answered come fight night. Now, aside from that, I believe personally Conor McGregor is going to have more than enough to defeat a fighter like Usman. Now, let's start with the beginning, where all these fights start, the stand-up department. The reason as to why I believe Conor McGregor has a great chance to defeat Kamaru Usman mainly lies in the fact that aside from Kamaru Usman being a very control-heavy fighter, we can look at Conor McGregor just the same way. The main difference lies in the fact that Conor McGregor is the way better aggressive, come-forward ring general. Kamaru Usman, when he fought, for example, Tyron Woodley, he had pretty much the door right open and he was essentially welcomed to pressure Tyron. When looking at his fight with Colby Covington, both fighters essentially did not give one another the chance to be the ring general. They were scrapping it out in the middle of the octagon, and because they were somewhat evenly matched in the stand-up department, that presented us with a fight which was toe-to-toe, chest-to-chest, and blow for blow. Now, when it comes to Conor McGregor, he is a fighter who does not really go ahead and warm up to the fight. It is 0 to 100 right away. So as soon as the bell rings, you can expect Conor McGregor to shoot forward and get that middle of the octagon. Now, you may say, look, Kamaru Usman is not a small featherweight. He can surely stand his ground and press Conor back, right? Well, the difference is he's probably going to get smacked in the face if he tries that, purely based on the fact that Conor McGregor is the faster fighter. He's a smaller fighter. Usually the smaller divisions always have a higher speed average compared to the higher divisions, so Conor is going to have the speed advantage, and he has the better overall experience in striking. He is a better striker. He is a more effective striker, and I believe he has a way better chance of knocking out and cleanly hitting Kamaru Usman than Colby Covington, for example. Colby Covington, if we're going to be using him as an example, he's a volume striker. He does not throw many punches where he loads up on one big shot and hopes to knock you out. That's never the case. With Conor McGregor, that is usually the case. He will always look to knock you out as soon as possible. That is what makes him great. So in these opening moments, Kamaru Usman, he can try his best shot, but I believe on the back foot, without him being in the middle of the octagon and being the ring general, he's not going to be really hitting Conor McGregor with anything of real substance that can demand immediate respect from Conor McGregor and make Conor McGregor back up. I don't believe that. I don't see it happening, because if you take a look at the entire skill set of Kamaru Usman, it is very much so based on the aspect of him being the fighter pressuring his opponent. That really doesn't come as a surprise, because if you take a look at his entire skill set, he has a very strong wrestling background that he can utilize on almost every one of his opponents. When that is the case, being able to counter a fighter like Usman becomes pretty difficult. Now, one way to avoid it is to not get involved in that situation to begin with, and no fighter does it better than Conor McGregor. Yes, you may think of Colby Covington as a fighter who is very good at going forward and keep that pressure going, but in Colby's case, the danger was not that he has great striking. It was just that, okay, I have to pay attention to his striking, and before you know it, he's shooting it on the legs and he's just able to keep that up for 5 rounds. Conor McGregor, on the other hand, when Conor is approaching you, you know any lapse of judgment, any moment where you didn't pay attention will cost you greatly. Now, Conor McGregor, he is a southpaw fighter, and traditionally southpaw fighters who are able to come forward and be aggressive fighters usually have the better understanding of the range, and going into a fight where you're fighting a bigger fighter with a longer reach who is taller than you, that is going to come as a great advantage, because when you look at Kamaru Usman, the real range that he can set comes predominantly from the medium to long range, and in that range I would say that his jab is not really that effective. The best effective attributes that man has really comes down to, I believe, his lead right straight and a lot of long ranged kicks to keep the opponent at bay so they can keep stepping forward and box him in. When it comes to Conor McGregor, these two predominant weapons are going to be really working against him. Kamaru Usman by nature is a fighter who throws one punch and is pretty much done with it. Now, throwing one punch on the back foot while Conor McGregor is coming forward, that becomes a very big problem many cannot deal with. You may think to yourself, look, Kamaru Usman has the longer reach, right? He's probably going to be able to jab him. Now, the thing about the jab is that Conor McGregor is very good at coming forward at all times and making you boxed in. His ability to keep a long range and close and tighten your guard up while measuring your jab hand is very very great. So because of that, I believe that the best weapon that Kamaru Usman might feel that he has to throw would be the right straight. Now, like I said, in his matchup, Conor McGregor is the faster fighter. In terms of reaction time, Conor has always been pretty splendid. So when you pair the two up, Conor McGregor will have a field day in my opinion, pressuring a fighter like Kamaru Usman. Now, the real question lies with this. You may think, well, Kamaru Usman is the bigger fighter. He should be able to stand his ground. And that may be true, but let's just say he does stand his ground. What does he really have to offer? In terms of pure striking, I believe Conor McGregor's abilities to feint, make you throw back, and make you feel nervous is what sets him apart from the competition. Now, in the case of Kamaru Usman, when that pressure is presented, how would he really deal with it? Like I said, on the back foot, I don't really see many tools that Kamaru Usman can utilize, because when it comes to his wrestling, it is predominantly applied when he has